Hello everyone, I am Rifat and here are my teammates Rafi, Ornov and Sajid. Today we are presenting about cultural appropriation. So start with, in the slide, we are going with introduction, differences between appropriation and appreciation, historical context and why it's problematic, Western society's exaggerated view and then one's approach, harmful effects and how to be respectful, and then ending it with a conclusion. So to start with, cultural appropriation is when you borrow or practice a culture from a culture that is not your own, and the thing that makes it cultural appropriation is that you are not willing to learn about the culture, the history, the background, or respect it, and often it's from more of a marginalized or oppressed culture. For example, we can see non-black people wearing dreadlocks. So if you look at the picture below, this is what a dreadlock is, and it's most commonly worn by black people, both men and women. And if you are as a white or from any other race is wearing this hairstyle, this is considered cultural appropriation because you don't know the value behind the cultural the hairstyle and what it stems from. Same for the Mexican culture, like wearing fake sombreros or fake mustaches and piñatas. Next. Oh, I'll be calling my teammate Sajid to do the.
Hello everyone. So I'll be explaining the difference between cultural appropriation and appreciation. So appropriation, what is appropriation? Appropriation happens when you don't know the cultural value of particular items and use them for trends, fashion, and etc. for your hobby or something like that. That's when appropriation happens, and it often harms the small tribes or their culture and so it's culture, not a costume. Just for trends, using another valued items as they hold dear is not accepted. And appreciation is when you truly, genuinely understand the meaning of that particular costume or something they hold dear, as in understanding the meaning of their significance. That is when appreciation happens. And the key differences are that when you truly understand, genuinely respect someone's culture or understand them, that's the meaning of appreciation. And appropriation is when you don't understand what you're doing, just doing it for fun or trends. That's when appropriation happens, and these are the key differences. So Orno will continue further.
Now I'll talk about historical context and why it's problematic. Look at this map. We can see France, England, Spain, and Portugal has a lot of historical context. Firstly, I will talk about France. France was ruled. Can I?
Colonizing?
Huh?
Colonizing?
Okay. I will talk about France later. First of all, I will talk about England. England is a lot of history, like a selective history. England education system always highlights the aspects of empire, like education and trade. And France has a colonial history. A colonial history means government what they want, they will rule as their own way. But some people, the problem in this fact is some people think that that's the right, and still some people defend at their France government role. And now let's talk about Spain. Spain was ruled by the dictator Francisco from 1939 to 1972. In this fact, the problem is that some people point of view that his dictatorship was right, and some people still now defend his role. And previous. Yeah. And also Portugal also about the same. Portugal was ruled by the dictator Oliveira Salazar. That is called Salazar dictatorship. And the problem in this fact is also the same as like Islam. It was ruled from 1935 to 1979. And some people also view that the dictator of Oliverio Salzario is right, and some people think he still now defend his role. For example, the British Museum has approximately 73,000 artifacts from Egypt alone. Next. If we look at this pie chart, we can see that the top three sources of cultural appropriation. First of all, colonization. Colonization, sometimes colonizers people took other cultural art, their design, their sculpture and many other things, and this is actually not right. The problem is this: sometimes the colonization, other cultural people get hurt when that colonization people took their design, their design, their sculpture, and claim that colonization people own this sculpture. That's the main point. And fashion is also in fashion point, we can see 30% of cultural appropriation belongs to fashion. In fashion, we can see some designs, some costumes are often a little bit changed to another culture, and it's not the right way to mix up or changing these things into culture. And film and TV, we can see some in TV shows or movies, we can see sometimes some cultural things or some historical things little bit change and they show in their own way.
When you get like in the music, for example, like
Yeah.
Korean pop groups, they'll use the hip hop.
Yeah.
They use hip hop expressions and hip hop moves and stuff like that. Is that cultural appropriation, or is that
Yeah, if we took some from another culture, like a pop music is stole from another industry, that's cultural appropriation. But if they claim that it's their own, that's false.
If they are using that and then say they invented it or they.
Yeah, they have to show just their own things.
Sorry, Hiba, yeah.
About the K-pop music thing, using hip-hop beats,
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's just appreciation, but there's an ironic part of it.
Yeah.
If you go to most clubs here in Korea that play that kind of music, they don't allow foreigners in.
There you
So
go.
that's very like, oh, we like the music, so we'll appropriate it, but then Korean people can only enter. It's funny, because how are you using our music and not others?
Yeah.
Especially with black people, some places they allow the kind of foreigners they like more like, Western white people, which they found, but that's their ideal beauty standard. They don't let black people in, but you'll see them blasting hip hop music in the entrance.
Oh, yeah, that's ironic.
It's
isn't
very
it?
ironic.
Yeah.
And
What about, I'm sorry,
Okay.
but, like, I know this is a positive thing? Like,
Okay.
it's like the British were in India for so long or whatever. Like my case, I'm a big tea drinker. Isn't that a part of cultural appropriation where like they were colonizing the other country and then they got into, is drinking tea, would that, like that's, isn't that Bangladesh?
Yeah,
if you earn money or want to gain money or without taking their permission or without giving their money or payment, it's not right. That's the point.
So if you're not asking, like if you're not acknowledging where it comes from and all.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys, you're too young to know Paul Simon, Simon and Garfunkel, is big Western pop music. He had a huge album. He used South African music, and he was a Western pop star, and he used beautiful music where he used Western pop music, and then he used South American beats and South American musicians were on it. And there was a lot of people spoke out against it, saying, well, you're using, that's cultural appropriation.
Yeah, yeah.
You're using the South African music, and you are making money off and all this. But for me, as a fan, it opened the door to that type of music, and you know, it brought me into it. It's the same argument they make for jazz music.
That's not right.
You know?
If we use another vocal or another lyrics or another rhythm and use his own way, and if he didn't give any money or taking any permission, it will be not right, and it leads the misinformation to among people. Next one. Next one. Exploitation. Exploitation means when sometimes colonization people, that's I talk before about this. Exploitation means use some cultural things, sculpture or art or design without any taking money, without giving their money or taking permission, and they use their own way. That means exploitation. Distortion of culture. Distortion of culture means something a little bit change, like music or any other design or collect. Like if I want to use any new, if I want to create any new things and I copied it from another culture, that's the distortion of culture, and it leads the wrong information along. It's create a huge problem into the generation.
I addressed this to anybody. Do you have any example of when, is everybody from Bangladesh?
Yeah.
Do you have an example like where maybe India appropriated something from your culture, or the West appropriated your culture, took something that?
I think we're going to touch upon that.
Can you
next
just
week.
tell us now?
Right now, like to give a recent example, a couple of 6 months ago, India took credit for one of our cultural clothing. Like there's a Tangali shari, you guys know.
What?
There's a traditional clothing of Bangladesh, shari.
Sari?
Shari, yeah, shari, yeah.
S-A-R?
S-A-R-O. Yeah, you can spell it in
Wait now, I thought that's Indian, isn't it?
No,
it's also Bangladesh.
The other one's called
But
Sari.
it was like a exclusively made in our area that has some different sort of specialty compared to the other. And India took it and called it that it has their own, like they made it.
Aha.
Like a historical
Yeah,
heritage.
yeah.
Korea
In fact,
has the very same thing about kimchi. When the Japanese say, oh, they have their kimchi or whatever, Koreans are like, we made kimchi,
Yeah.
kimchi.
Yeah.
That's a major deal today, right?
Yeah, it was a very big issue because India took a huge part of our culture and claimed it as one of their own.
Aha. Thank you. Sorry, go ahead.
And last, disrespect. Sometimes colonization people are don't care. People are careless about another culture, another nation, another sculpture. They do whatever they want. That's actually the problem in this fact is there is disrespectful or it's hurtful for another nations. People got hurt when they saw when they heard that someone is disrespect about their culture. And that was my topic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now I'm going to talk about the Western society's exaggerated view. Right?
Exaggerated view of what?
The Western society, like how cultural appropriation has been way over exaggerated in the Western culture than it is. Like for example, people in the West have been very vocal about this issue, and they're to a
You
very
think we are overreacting?
not you specifically, but people in the
He's a
West.
Western person.
No, I know not news, but the Western.
Yeah, the Western people are very sensitive to this sorts of topic. If you like even wear something that's not from your culture, they are going to call you out and they are going to ask you if you know about their culture, you respect them, you know the background, the history. They are going to interrogate you if you even think of using something from someone else's culture. So we have a video if you can play, Rafi. Back again. No, no, no. It's good.
Both of them change.
Oh, that was like one. There you go, that's fine, that happens.
I think my outfit is offensive.
Are you Mexican?
No.
Yes.
I think it reaffirms stereotypes that are offensive to people.
You think people really think Mexican people are like this and carry around branches?
No, I don't think people actually think that.
You don't really understand what their culture means and what it means to wear these things, like the hats and the maracas. You know, you sort of have to understand where all of this comes from for it to not be cultural appropriation.
Can I just ask you, do you like my costume?
I like your mask.
See that word, right? When you say your costume, in the West, you say that's.
Yeah, it's
that's
offensive.
Right? I'm calling it costume instead of your clothes.
Clothing.
Traditional clothes.
Yeah.
Some people get offended by what I'm wearing. No original. Do you know who sold me this? Mexicans.
Oh, really?
So you're white and you get offended, but then Mexican people who sold me this made me don't get offended.
Ah, yeah, I see.
It's kind of weird, doesn't it?
Like,
So-
this
so
was the point I was trying to prove
we're
because
getting overly offended.
yeah, now Mexican people are totally okay with other people using their culture, like wearing their traditional clothes, wearing a fake mustache. They don't really care about that. They actually appreciate that they are showing their culture. But it's the white people that get offended because you're not. Yeah.
I have a question about you saying that people take it to an extreme.
Mm.
It's not about Mexicans, but you know how like some black people, like they wear braids as a protective hairstyle, and in the workplace, some people are like if they wear their natural hair out like an afro, some people are told that that's not professional, that's not a clean look, and they told black people to change it, like to wear wigs to adapt to a more cleaner look. But if white women wear braids, it's considered exotic and different, and that's the difference between the. He's wearing that in a Mexican street, and they see it as in, oh, he's appreciating our culture. But you saying they're taking it to an extreme, well, focusing only on this point, I feel like it doesn't really go well. Because if it's not about, oh, wearing the costume and not appreciating it, it's like, if you take it to like a context where it really matters, it's not about, oh, do you like my culture, are you stealing it? It's when the people from the original, like if a Mexican person wears that, they're gonna be like, oh, they look different. They get like a certain gaze from other people that's different. But when a white person wears it, it's a costume. It's like something that it's costume-ish. A black woman wearing braids is unprofessional, but a white woman wearing it is exotic and different.
Guys, for everybody from Bangladesh, there was a case where the Canadian Prime Minister, his name is Justin Trudeau. Maybe you guys never heard of it in Bangladesh, but in Canada, Trudeau went to India for a diplomatic visit. In fact, he did it 2 or 3 times, right? So Trudeau is a very, very progressive and very, left-leaning, right? But when he went to India, he dressed up in all the, we say dressed up, right? 'Cause he doesn't know, right? He doesn't know deeply the culture. But he wore Indian traditional clothes from head to toe, right? And in Canada, that's, maybe we overreacted, but we're saying, he's making Canadians look like a joke because he's taking on the culture, right? He's appropriating the culture without a deep understanding of it, right? But would you say that's no problem?
I think for me, I'd say that's not a huge problem because he's not profiting from it. He's just experiencing their culture.
He meant well too.
He meant well. He didn't have any bad intention before wearing the cultural costume. I mean, not costume.
Like
clothes.
it was like he's showing respect to Indian culture. That's why he's a president of some other countries and he went
doing this.
and
We
we
represent
There's a video that is hilarious. We look at him laugh and can't what's he doing? But again, people say he's trying to.
it's just trying to be humble to others' culture, trying to show the respect to other culture. That's the point. Yeah.
That's why the people who like Trudeau said, like most people in Canada were saying, he's making us look like fools because he's wearing a garb,
Yeah, that's the extreme part I was talking about, because people in the West, yes, specifically take this part very seriously.
Yeah,
If you
that's
try
right.
But he's not making money off of it.
yeah,
No.
he's not profiting off of it. He's just trying to appeal to the Indian people. That's why he wore the traditional clothes.
Did you hear about the boba thing? You know the TV show Shark Tank?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So there's a TV show called Shark Tank, you know, and it's a bunch of entrepreneurs, and you go pitch your idea, and they invest in it, whether they like the idea or not. You're trying to pitch for investment.
Yeah.
And this white couple comes in trying to pitch
Boba.
non-ethnic boba.
Not ethnic, boba.
Non-ethnic boba. They said, oh,
What's that?
you know, like the tapioca drinks with the little balls, the boba drinks. They originate from Taiwan, and they're huge in the West right now. Everybody drinks the bubble tea. They call it bubble tea, but it's an ethnic drink. It's from Taiwan, and it's Asian. And this white French couple comes and says that they want to take the ethnicity out of it to make it cleaner, because they don't trust the local Taiwanese and Asian people that make it, so they want to westernize it. And that became a huge deal. Everybody's like, that's just extremely.
And this is called distortion. That's I told before.
Distortion.
So that's different. It's different.
You're gonna-
You know?
For example, we have Moroccan food, which is couscous. Okay. We have a Nepali traditional dress called Darul Sarwa, and Uzbekistani traditional festival called Basan Bahar.
And this is interesting.
Like as a person, if I like partake any of this or like wear Nepali clothing, eat Moroccan food, I'm not appropriating it. I'm just trying their culture. But if I'm attacked because I'm trying their culture, I'm not going to like delve into their culture anymore. I have to back out of it, like not from their culture, from any of the culture, because I face criticism because I just try to taste like how their culture is and I try to experience it, but I face the backlash. That's why I'm not going to try and get into other cultures anymore. So I think that's why the extremism part is a little bit difficult for the rest of the world other than the West. Like for example,
Can I have a question? Does couscous really looks like that?
No.
I Google, I don't know.
So, like, just you talked about understanding about cultural effect and representing in that way. Did you try to like?
Yeah, I tried to search
It's
through a
out
couple
of
of
our
pictures.
budget.
Yeah. This is the Western version of this.
Yeah, there were a lot of pictures. I just picked which one was the best.
This is what
Guys, we're gonna have to clue up yours tomorrow, okay? Because all right, guys, make sure just double check it. I checked the attendance for everybody, but if it's a problem, just see me after class, okay? See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. We're working on cultural appropriation.
Hello guys, this is Majnun Rafi. So yesterday we had presentation and our topic was cultural appropriation. We already explained what it is, how it affects on someone's society, and almost our presentation was finished, but because of the class time we can't finish that yesterday. So today from this, Zifat was explaining these things, and we will take the lead and continue this presentation. Thank you.
Can we go to the next slide?
Sazid, you're late for your own presentation.
So as I was explaining yesterday, I'm going to talk about how Halloween is like a festival that is celebrated all around the earth, but nobody knows its origins, that where it came from, which culture it took inspiration from. Nobody usually knows it. But it actually came from the Celtic region of UK and Ireland. But if you think about it like critically, like how Western people think, you can celebrate Halloween because it stems from a different culture that's not their own. So in that way, nobody should celebrate Halloween except the people from UK and Ireland. Can you change the slide? And another example would be Christmas. Christmas is the same because Christmas originated from Rome. In the ancient Roman Empire, I think it was 435 BCE, in the first record they celebrated Christmas. So this would also be an example of cultural appropriation because, as I said, it's not your culture, but all of us celebrate it all around the world. So But there are also negative sides to cultural appropriation as well. Like for example, Elvis Presley, like the couple of days ago, Boxer was talking about how Elvis Presley introduced the white audience to blues and made it mainstream. And blues was usually a genre made and developed by the black African Americans. So that is a prime example of cultural appropriation, because Elvis Presley was using a genre that was not developed by his own race, and he was profiting from it. He also made it mainstream, which made it the other black musicians that could not get the spotlight because of him. Same for Eminem. Eminem is a rapper and rap is a big genre for the black men, and he is one of the only white guys in the genre. And a lot of people blame Eminem for culturally appropriating rap, because rap is not usually meant for white people. Rap is usually dominated by the black people. And if I go to the next example, Native American headdress. Like you guys see the head mask-like thing. American people wear, like they have feathers in it. Lot of fashion shows use this type of costumes, but also this is not their culture, and it has a lot violent history behind it, because the Indians, as they call them, were colonized by the British people, and they took their land, they killed their people, they massacred their colonies, they erased their culture. So this is a huge problem, I'd say, for the Native American population.
Teams, cities that they call the Redskins. Right? They were a baseball team. Even now, if you, people who are woke, just saying the name Redskins is offensive to Indian people. Well, it was the team name for years, right? So it was cultural, but it was misappropriation. They were using so these days that stuff is getting erased.
What's that thing, racial stereotype more than cultural appropriation?
Absolutely. And they used to do the Tommy Hawk chop in the baseball game and all this. Now they made well, they didn't, but
Yeah, they had it very distant, yeah.
so it was cultural, they were taking the cultural things, but they were using it, like you say, in an inappropriate place. It was cultural misappropriation. But you're definitely right on those with your examples. The Elvis example too, I heard a lot about it because I'm a big music fan. And it's definitely true what you're saying. That's been debated a lot in the West about when people come in and use the minorities' culture to
and profiting from it. Yeah.
Exactly. Sorry.
Yeah, sure. But let's continue. We can have a new nuanced approach to cultural appropriation. Nuanced approach to cultural appropriation, as you can see, reduce racism, because if you are partaking in another people's culture, you are getting to know about their culture. So in turn, it makes you less racist or believe in stereotypes less than you would do normally. Like for examples, I'd say Indian people have a lot of different traditions, but if you partake in it, not Indian people, like Indian subcontinent as a whole, we share a lot of different cultural background as well. So if you partake in our cultures, you are going to get to know us more, and not just from stereotypes like how we are good in math, we are good with tech. This is all stereotypes, but we are more than that. We are human. We also have personality stories. We also have our own agendas. And culture is not something you should gatekeep. Culture is dynamic and it's meant to be shared. You share your culture to other people, and you take other people's culture to experience how they do things, how they celebrate their life, their everyday, their festivals. So it's not something you should gatekeep, and if you don't gatekeep your culture, it's going to evolve. It's going to reach to a huge audience which can develop your culture throughout the time. Rafi is going to address the next question.
So I'm going to explain the harmful effects and how to be respectful. First of all, there is a several ways there is a several harmful effects in cultural appropriation, but I don't have that much time to explain all of them. I'm going to explain we have a lot, like it's 1,000 or more than that, so it's not possible to explain all of them. I'm going to
Don't worry
take
about
major.
time, guys. You're doing fine.
So first of all, I'm going to explain the exploitation. What is exploitation in cultural appropriation? Exploitation is like you are touching someone's culture without knowing the reason of this culture. Like if I am wearing Santa Claus dress in Christmas, but I don't know what is the reason behind it. Even if I get, someone is doing the business in Christmas by selling the Santa Claus dress, but they don't know, they don't know how to respect this one because it's someone's culture, it's Christian's culture, they should respect them before adopting them. They want to know how to develop this one. Second one is stereotypes.
Wait a second, dressing up like Santa would be exploitation?
No, it's not it's exploitation. But if you don't know what is this, like Santa Claus has a roles, like he's.
I don't know if the Santa Claus is good. I would say better to say like wearing a Buddhist bracelet or wearing a cross or
Yeah,
something.
but Santa Claus is a fictional character.
Or I think he's from pagan days, like in Europe.
He's a real person?
Yeah, Saint Nicholas is from Denmark or something. So like a lot of the Christian Christmas traditions are connected with paganism before. So like December 25th, it's not from the Bible, it's a European pagan rite and it got mixed in with the Christmas. So I think like, and I don't know a lot about it, but I think I know a lot more than the most. We just celebrate Santa Claus and it's no problem because it's not religion. When somebody puts it on like, you know, like if you wear a cross but you're not Christian or you know, put a little Buddhist thing because it's cute, would be a good example like you're saying.
What I'm going to say is like wearing a Santa Claus dress is not exploitation. But if you don't know what is the reason behind it, if you don't know how to respect this dress, this is also someone's culture, right? So I can put that, you can put that, but there is a thing like Santa Claus pay gifts. He have to behave well with someone. But if you wearing that suit and just go and fight with someone on Christmas, it's not a good thing, right?
Right.
So that's how exploitation is working there. Yeah, you are also right that anyone can wear that. Maybe the Buddhist dress like can't wear it by someone else without their respecting or I don't know their who pray for them.
Yeah.
These kind of things.
Yeah.
But this one can be also cultural exploitation if you don't respect it. So
I'm curious if there's a Muslim greeting. God, what's the greeting? Some of you guys. What is it?
Assalamu alaikum.
I say it.
Assalamu alaikum.
It's a
We say assalamu.
So if a guy from a Christian background, if we say that,
No. That's being respectful.
Yeah, I've heard that too. There's no God word in that phrase.
No.
No, I
Just
think
be
that's
clear
Allahu
about
Akbar.
What is it?
Allahu Akbar is the one that has the.
it. God.
And are you allowed to say that as a
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
you
is
can say
allowed,
it.
yeah. I think it's just because the word has been taken out of context. Because of like, you know, the terrorist attacks, some people used to say it before it, so it's been taken out of context. That's why it's become, it's a little bit controversial. But
if you use it like to say something bad.
Yeah.
I see.
It's being used now to put it down, but it's not bad. It just means God is the greatest.
Okay.
Verbatim.
Well, yeah, even I knew it was something like that, but my point is like, to use that phrase without being part of their religion is okay.
Some people use it to mock people. That's the problem. Because like I said, it's been like used in that context. So people use it to like, you know, look down on the Muslim community. That's why it's becoming like.
I forgot to ask you about this. What do you guys say at Christmas now? Do you say Merry Christmas or do you say Happy Holidays or you don't say anything? Well, how about that? I would suggest to you that you don't say Merry Christmas, but say Happy Holidays. Something like that, that would be, that's the.
You don't feel like it's out?
Because I know if somebody says Merry Christmas, they don't come back. So usually non-religious people or non-religious like say, I was just curious, you don't say So, when I say weird, that's just weird, is that something weird? Because you're gonna hear it, you're gonna deal with this here too.
Merry Christmas.
I know in Canada and.
Arifat, are you ready?
You don't have to be Christian or whatever, just, yeah.
Second one is stereotypes. Stereotypes can be divided in two sections. Like first of all, if someone adopts others' culture and start dominating them, like I'm adopting a culture from you, and after that I didn't give you the credit. I'm taking this as my culture. I'm showing to the world that this is my culture. You are using, but you are the owner of this culture. It means the credit goes to not the actual owner of this culture. It goes to the dominating group. So, like in Korea and Japan, there is a controversy between kimchi. Like Japan always say kimchi is ours. Even in this race, China also sometimes participate on this list. Like China says kimchi is ours. Korea says kimchi is ours. Japan did same too. But for this reason, we actually don't know whose culture is this. Like I think, Professor, you also don't know. It's actual.
It is actually there too. You was talking about kimchi. Kimchi is like they're so
National
part of their culture, right? So
Yeah.
they have a million. I've been living here so long. Like to say kimchi is Chinese or something would be definitely. You guys don't talk like that. Kimchi is only made in Korea, originally Korean, and it's definitely that's.
Are you scared they'll hear you?
Do you know another sensitive topic that if you want to be on good Korean style? Well, I guess this is a little bit difficult. Dokdo. Have you heard the expression? Dokdo was these two small islands that are between Japan and
Oh, yeah.
They're under dispute. Now, I'm sure Japan probably has their story about it. But as a foreigner living here, Dokdo is Korean, right? That's, if you come from, you want to get them to laugh or whatever, say Dokdo is Korean. But it's a very, today, it's a touchy issue because of fishing rights and so many things. It's only finding the lines. Well, kimchi is a joke, right? Who made kimchi? Dokdo, that's serious business. If you research it a little bit, it's a little interesting, but it's under dispute. It's been under dispute since I've lived here, for always. But technically, it's Korean, and they're on the island. And
Watch out.
it's, yeah. But anyway, sorry, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so first type was this, and second type was it's not adapting others' culture. It's my culture, but it's not a culture. It's a counter culture. Especially when you look at India, like maximum people are from Bangladesh, right? So
Mexican
you guys,
people?
yeah.
Maximum people.
You guys know about Calcutta. The Calcutta has a culture like, as we know, we don't know actual things. Like when some guests come to your home, they don't offer you food. They just ask like, did you have your meal or you are going to take that after reaching home or after going home? I think you all guys know that. So this is a counter culture. We have memorized these things because of their behavior. So they didn't adopt this one from others or someone else, but they create its own. So it's also a second type of stereotypes, cultural appropriation. Erasure of cultural significance. Erasure of cultural significance is like when someone is dominating others' culture. Like it's not their fault. Like if I'm adapting Western culture, and my culture is a little bit fewer than them. So when I start adapting their culture, my culture will go down by them, and I will forget my cultural significance. Then, so by doing this, some of the culture are like go away. There is no sign of any culture. Especially it's happening in Bangladesh right now, like people are too much amount of people are adopting Western culture. They even the next generation, some of them don't know about the Bangladeshi culture. There is an issue in Uttara, it's in Dhaka city. There is a school called, I forgot the name, but they just start protesting that Eid is a major festival for Muslim, and as Bangladesh is a Muslim country, we celebrate it as the biggest festival in Bangladesh. But
Yeah, we kind of celebrated it here last semester. The students wanted the holiday, so we all took it off.
but we didn't have.
So they were keep, wow.
Yeah, we had class, right?
No, we didn't have one.
We also.
Sujin
I
gave us.
didn't cancel class. Yes. Yeah, he can't, that's what I mean. There's no holiday here.
We went to
Our
holidays.
classes, we took a break because when we were talking about it, it's like, oh, this is a really
Yeah.
big deal, right? So you had, you know.
It's a holiday in Bangladesh, right? Yeah.
It's not a holiday, it's a month holiday.
Biggest-
biggest-
So
this one is the biggest festival in Bangladesh and we celebrate in a briefly way.
Not the one you slaughter.
But in Dhaka city, there is a school called Scholastica. It's an English medium school, and it's decorated by UK. It's maintained by UK. English medium. Can you please? So they start protesting that they don't want this much vacation or this much holiday in Eid. They want that on Christmas. They start protesting this because of their culture, like they are learning from UK or British culture. So they start doing this, and after that there is some fight happening between that school and another students. So these kind of things are erasure of cultural significance. If you don't know the significance of someone's culture or your
Does that example, does it fit in with cultural appropriation?
yeah.
In this case, is it like cultural appropriation where the example you're giving about fearing a Christian?
Yeah, I'm telling about like erasure of cultural significance. It means if when you adopt some other's culture, you may forget your culture.
Oh.
Not you, your next generation.
Oh.
Okay.
I see.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
Like the guys are in school, they are now school students, they are underage, maybe someone's a teenage. So they are not that much experienced with our culture. And from the starting, they start learning British culture because of their school. So that's what I'm trying to explain.
Interesting.
Last one is cultural deviation. So cultural deviation is, as I explained, cultural significance is a dominant culture with your own culture, and cultural deviation is you just mixed up with both culture. Like you are adapting British culture, you are adapting Bangladeshi culture, both. But when you mix them, you don't know which one is the actual culture. Like if you wear tops with sari, it's happening in Bangladesh right now.
Tops
Like,
with
yeah.
If you were what?
Jeans with
Tops, jeans, yeah, they're
like a top with their cultural
Traditional clothing,
yeah.
They mix it like a top, like piece of clothing.
Oh, okay. Sorry, so you mix that with another kind of clothes.
Yeah, like just regular.
Even they wear jeans with it. So it's not the proper way to show your culture or show British culture, Western culture, whatever.
Now, Christian, they have that too, like, cause I wear it, I have a casual kind of hanbok type top, like something like that. But, you know, Korea, they wouldn't, it wouldn't be offensive or it wouldn't be,
Yeah.
so you're saying if you mix the traditional.
I have a question.
Oh, okay, diluting the culture.
Yeah.
Oh, but you're okay with it, you wouldn't be offended.
We are not offended, but the senior citizens, they might look at it. This is not the proper way to show your culture. It will not. Like if someone is respecting my culture, and even she's my people, she's not a foreigner, or it's not about only girl. Even the men are doing the same things. Like we wear Punjabi with pajama back to some days, but now we are wearing jeans, chinamons, this kind of fabrics with Punjabi. This is not the proper. Even I did that back to my country. But this is not the proper way. Like when I wear that, my father was shouting, "Why you did that? This is not a proper way to wear these things." Because they know the actual culture, and we just mix up with that culture, with Indian culture, with Western culture, and with our culture. We don't know anything properly. That's the reason of cultural division.
Yeah, it's interesting, like the whole Western thing, right, is
Yeah.
about a melting pot, right? It is the
And
assimilation.
when we're going to talk about Bangladesh, it's not only about the Western things, it's also about the Indian things. Like, we have a huge effect of Bollywood movie industry, Indian movie industry. Yeah. Yeah. So when we do that, like young people love heroes. As we know now that the movies are not real, but young people know they are very curious about these things. Like these are real. I wanna be like him. So our movie industry is not that much big. That's why young generation are fall for Indian movie industries and Hollywood movie industries. So that's why they just mixed up with both of them and they forgot our culture. Not every way. Like there is a festival called Pohela Boishakh. It's Bangladeshi New Year, Bangla New Year. So on that day, everyone is Bangladeshi. That doesn't matter. Yeah, they dress up properly, they eat traditional foods. Everyone knows this kind of things, but this is a little part of our culture, not the whole culture. So that's why cultural revolution destroy our culture. Even maybe someone's other culture, I don't know about Nepal or Uzbek. So this one is such effective things in cultural revolution.
Eva has a question.
Yeah. Because you didn't mention my country.
Yeah.
I wanted to.
So,
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I wanted to, because you said about the diluting the cultures. I come from Morocco. We have like Christian people, Jewish people, and Muslim people. And it's all like a melting pot. But compared to like 60, 70 years ago, it was mostly just us, like, you know, it was mostly just Islam people. And I think what you're saying is true. But don't you think that it is also good because you're even if it's like different cultures melting into a new one, don't you think it's good because you're creating a new culture?
okay, I'm explaining you like if you are talking about religion. Okay, religious culture is also important. That doesn't matter. But I'm talking about nation's culture. In Bangladesh, there is also Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist. So in Pohela Boishakh, which one is Bangla New Year, I already explained. They all are celebrating it together. This is the culture we all celebrate. It's not about religion. It's not about the color. Okay. So when you come to that point, I think it's not good. Cause like if I'm adapting Indian culture, Pohela Boishakh will go. Like in Bangladesh now, Happy New Year, like English New Year is celebrating more
Than the
than
New
yeah,
Year?
Bangla New Year. So this is disrespect for our culture. Our culture will go away after some days maybe. So we have to teach them, the younger, the teenager. We have to teach them how to adapt our culture first. Yeah, we should respect your culture. We should respect Uzbeki culture. Of course, it's your culture.
Yeah.
I'm your friend or I'm no one to you, but we should respect everyone's culture. That's what I mean.
So it's just about like identity.
Yeah, that's an identity. Yeah.
I think that it's like a good opportunity for me talking to people from Bangladesh and Nepal and Morocco. I was just curious, okay, with the woke culture in the West now, we're supposed to respect all the cultures. It's so far that way that, like in my hometown, our anthem, we had to take out the word God because certain groups in our society are different religions. Now the majority are Christian, right? And the majority have some kind of, Jewish faith. Same God. Well, we got to minus God on the anthem because we got to respect all of the groups, and the atheist groups and the groups who don't want that in their. They're even talking about we got to watch pronouns, using pronouns, use neutral pronouns. I'm just curious, what do you think of that? Because, like in Canada, they say we got to respect our new Bangladeshi people. We've got, the Muslim people, and we're not all Christian. We got to respect. So the old guys and let's say the conservatives, the Trump types, they're like, this is America or this is Canada. We got to have our culture first, right? And they have to assimilate to our culture. I'm just curious, if someone comes to Bangladesh, would you allow them to remove God from your anthem or from something like that?
I don't think so. I don't think so, no.
No.
Because religion is also a big part of our culture. A lot of things stems from religion in our culture. So we can just leave it alone. It's also a significant part of our culture.
Like our culture is related to Muslims and a little bit with Hindus because there are lots of Hindus in Bangladesh. So both of the religion are religious people are in Bangladesh. So our culture made from the religion.
Our family was divided because of religion.
So it's a big part in our culture.
Well, I would say a conservative would argue that in America and Canada, religion used to be.
For the separation of the
Now,
church.
America has an constitution separation of church and state, but Canada doesn't. Well, because in our, like, we're left-leaning and respect of the other cultures and all this, we're pulling more and more towards, so the Christian conservatives, the right-wing people, that's their argument. They go, if I went to India or if I went to Bangladesh, they're not gonna, they get to keep God, they're not gonna let me, some countries won't let you have a Bible and all that, but here we are in Canada and America, and we're gonna minus, we're changing the majority's religion to adapt to the new groups, right? I'm not saying it's right or wrong, I'm just saying,
But isn't it
I don't
different
think it
that-
would go on in your country. I'm sorry. Overly open, right? You're using that phrase, the best way conservatives would talk. We gotta be careful in the Trump crowd here too.
Isn't it different? Because like America, it's like America before like the British and the French, it was just indigenous land. So, but there's it's always been a melting pot of cultures.
True.
But like other countries, it's mostly just their people and their ethnicity. Whereas America, from the start, from the creation of the new land, it was just melting pots. Because there is no such thing as like an American race or ethnicity.
Yeah.
It was mostly Europeans coming before after the indigenous people, and then it just created a melting pot of cultures. So that's different. But then even if other people come to Bangladesh or Morocco, for example, it's not going to be the same. They're going to be coexistent. But like a Bangladeshi person that was born in America can say he's American. But if
Isn't there this debate in Morocco, I'm just curious, the indigenous people to Morocco?
yes,
Would
they want still now, they're still protesting to be separated. They want the part, we have the desert, and the indigenous people who live in the desert, they want to be separated. They don't want to be a part of Morocco anymore. Because we have a different tribe, we're trying to get rid of the tribes and become just one big, like just all, like, identify as Moroccans, but they don't want that, because they say we came here first, you guys colonize, because all the other tribes just came there to colonize the original people.
Right.
So they're still fighting.
That sounds a lot like America was natives, right? Indigenous
Yeah.
people, right? We said Indians, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what nowadays is that's racist. And you should say indigenous groups, right? So, but that sounds a little bit similar.
It is a little bit similar.
But anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask, as Rafi said, that nowadays in Bangladesh people enjoy more English Happy New Year than Bengali Happy New Year. I wanted to ask you guys what influences this, and also like other cultures nowadays, more in all over the world people enjoy like Valentine's Day, even though it is not in their culture, they enjoy Valentine's Day and other days that are mostly from West culture. So I wanted to ask you guys what influences it. What do you think?
What influences our culture from those?
What influences those cultures that the whole world, most of the world, like following those cultures rather than their own culture?
Because I'd say mostly because you know how popular media is right now, how popular movies, TV shows are. These movies and shows glorify these events. Like Valentine's Day is a huge event because of this. Valentine's Day was not this big 20 years ago in most of the world.
It's true.
So according to that, as you mentioned that media is influencing a lot. So do you think that media is somehow changing the cultural view from like people's lives? Because if you guys, can I ask a question? So if you guys, in most Hollywood movies, the terrorist is always Muslim. In most Indian movies, the terrorist is always Pakistani. That's always goes. So isn't it somehow affecting the culture? Isn't it somehow representing?
Yeah, it's creating stereotypes, like we were talking before. It's creating stereotypes around the world.
Another thing is like,
But the
because
media
of
is
this
American.
movie, there is a affecting thing. Like already Korean means terrorism is always a you can see Europe or America. Like there is a huge amount of terrorists who is a non-Muslim. Yeah, Muslim can be a terrorist, but not all of them. So when it's when you are going to say like there is a terror attack, maybe maximum of Muslim people think it was done by someone.
Something like if you see specifically terrorists terrorist attack, it's always a Muslim. But if someone from other religion does it, it's not a terror attack.
He's mentally ill.
Huh?
That's what they say.
Who?
They say the person who did
Yeah,
it.
it's a mentally ill person. It's not a terrorist. He has mental problems. He has physical problems. He has heart background.
No, it's always schizophrenia.
Schizophrenia, yes. But if a Muslim person, even if he is slightly Muslim, he's a terrorist. That's propaganda.
Yeah, so that's like the media is mostly Western.
Yeah, the media is controlled by the West.
But it's the same way. In Morocco, we don't celebrate Christmas. We have Christmas
Yeah, we
sales.
also don't celebrate
We have
Christmas.
Christmas sales.
Yeah, we also don't celebrate Christmas.
Deepak, you have a question for Pichak?
इशारा से इशारा करें.
Christmas is a culture, was come from Europe. So Christmas is only culture or is like religion?
It's connected with religion, but it has also become a part of culture. Not many people that are also not Christians, because a lot of people celebrate.
That is from the century, like the Rome people was they are all Christian who celebrate.
Yeah. Rome people are Christian. They were hardcore Christian people.
Yeah, they were like
They believe in Jesus more than you guys believe in him.
Yes.
It's not totally about praying. It's like a occasion.
But Christmas has just become like a commercial.
Commercial, yeah. Ada.
Okay, guys. So now I'm going to explain how to be respectful. First of all, when you are adapting someone's culture, you should educate yourself about their culture. Where the culture comes from, why it created, this kind of things you should know, because you have to respect their culture. If you in some it's a Korean culture, but if you do this on Bangladesh, people will must love, because they don't know what this thing is. But if you love at this in Korea, they will love, because they don't know this.
Okay.
But if you love on this in Korea, you must die, I think. So you should be respectful, and second one is ask for the permission.
I think as a foreigner, you can get away, like they don't,
Yeah.
they understand your body language. is
Yeah, they
different,
do,
right? They do, they never.
They give you the benefit of the doubt.
You can do that, but you should
Bless
decide.
you.
But if you know it and you play the game, they'll respect you more, for sure,
Yeah.
right? But, it's a good thing to follow. I wouldn't say,
Professor.
they let you away with lots of mistakes, it's okay.
So second one is ask for permission. When you are doing something like, if we educate ourselves, if we read or if we gather some information about your culture or someone's culture, then also we don't know the exact culture, because media or the educational system can't teach you the proper way to respect someone's culture. You should dare for knowing their actual culture, actual things. Like even when I back to Bangladesh, I look at some K-pop or Korean TV shows, but after reaching there, I just think it's a little bit fake, because when their movies are you watch their movies, they are fighting, okay, they are smiling, but in Korea they are like robots, I think. So it's not the proper way to educate yourself. But yeah, obviously you have to learn before come anyone's culture, or yeah. Then after that you have to ask for the permission. Like, can I do this? You just educate, you just learn that from internet. But when you are doing it, you should ask, can I do it? It will be humble. Can I wear it? Is there any problem if I wear it? Then give credit. Obviously, I already told you about the kimchi. Like, I don't know whose culture or whose food is kimchi, but if it's Japan's or if it's Korea's. So if Japan takes this, they should give the credit. Like, yeah, we adapted from Korea, but it's now a part of our culture. We adapted very humbly. It's so good. So we should give the credit for the owner of the actual culture. After that, question your intention. For being respectful, you should question yourself. What is your intention? Like I already told you, like if I'm adapting Rome culture, Christmas, if I'm adapting that, I'm selling Santa Claus dress for my profit. I don't know what it's mean to. But if I say same thing, I do it with knowing of all of the knowledge, maybe it's good. Because I know their culture, I'm selling their happiness. I'm selling not a product, it's, when a culture comes to it, it's a happiness.
Okay.
So that's why you should ask
Questionnaire.
yourself,
Yeah.
what's your intention?
Just don't commercialize it without knowing about the product or the culture. Don't commercialize the product without knowing about their culture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Conclusion.
Are you playing Tom and Jerry?
So, in conclusion, I would say cultural appropriation can be harmful, but if you educate yourself, if you know how to respect others' culture, if you know how to adapt others' culture with your culture, it will be great. It will make a global family for all of us. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
So if you guys could give me a minute after, we can have a little chat.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much, guys. We'll see